You hear it all the time, right? We're always talking about boomers, millennials, and Gen Z, trying to figure out what makes them tick. But there's this one generation that kind of slipped into the background, the one that rarely demands any attention, Generation X. And honestly, their whole mindset might be one of the most unique of all.
So how did this generation get so incredibly self-reliant? Well, we're going to start by looking at why they're so often overlooked. Then we'll dig into the unique experiences that shaped their fiercely independent way of thinking.
All right, let's kick things off with the central mystery that really defines this entire generation.
And right there, that's the heart of it. Gen X is a generation that just doesn't feel the need to explain itself, which is exactly what makes them so fascinating. They're not the ones shouting for attention, and you know what? That's precisely why we need to be listening.
Okay, so to really get it, we have to go back, way back, to their childhoods, to see how one single common experience pretty much shaped the mindset of an entire generation.
I mean, that just paints such a vivid picture of the latchkey kid reality. For so many kids back in the 1970s and 80s, this quiet, solitary return from school wasn't some unusual thing. It was just life.
And yeah, this wasn't just a few kids here and there. By the mid-1980s, we're talking millions of children who were regularly spending their afternoons with zero adult supervision. This became a huge factor in how they developed.
So, what happens after all those quiet afternoons alone? You get a generation with independence baked right into their DNA. When there's no one around to guide you, you learn to figure things out on your own. It's the very root of that classic Gen X vibe. You know the one, don't worry, I'll handle it. And you see that everywhere, from how they parent to how they manage a team at work.
All right, so let's dig into how the world around them, the social and economic vibe of their youth, created this totally distinct worldview. It's one that's all about being ready for, well, anything. I mean, they grew up watching the world shift under their feet. They saw firsthand that life wasn't always stable or predictable. The message they got, loud and clear, was, be ready, because plans are probably going to change.
But hold on, this isn't about being a pessimist. Not at all. Psychologists have a really cool name for it, defensive realism. It's like a form of emotional preparedness. You're not assuming things will go wrong, you're just quietly getting ready for a few different outcomes, just in case.
And you can totally see this mindset play out in how they handle problems. They often seem so unfazed in a crisis, right? It's not because they're fearless. It's because experience already taught them that surprises are just a normal part of life. In leadership, this is the person who's the steady hand guiding the team through chaos because, yep, they've already thought through Plan B and probably Plan C too.
Okay, next up, let's talk about how growing up in a pre-digital world totally shaped their views on work, trust, and something that feels almost radical today, privacy.
I mean, really think about that for a second. No Google, no Wikipedia. If you wanted to find an answer, you had to physically go to a library, dig through card catalogs, and actually flip through pages. All that effort taught them something really important: how to evaluate information, figure out what's real, and filter out the noise before reacting.
And what about their first jobs? Delivering newspapers, bagging groceries. These weren't just lines on a resume, they were real responsibilities. And that instilled this strong sense that your effort has a direct, tangible impact. If you didn't show up, someone noticed. It's that simple.
So when you put all that together, these core beliefs explain so much. It's why they care more about what you can do than your fancy title. It's why they form these strong, quiet bonds with the people they trust. And it totally explains why they approach social media with so much caution. For them, privacy isn't about hiding something. It's just this fundamental belief that not every single thought or moment needs an audience.
And this all leads to what makes Gen X so incredibly unique. They are, quite literally, the bridge generation. They've got one foot in the analog past and the other planted firmly in our digital present.
Think about it. They're the only living generation to have a fully analog childhood and then adapt to and help build the digital world we all live in today. They remember life before constant connectivity, but they're also completely fluent in the technology that powers it.
And that bridge metaphor, it's perfect. It just nails their role in society. They are so often the quiet, foundational managers, engineers, and problem solvers, holding things together, enabling the modern world without ever demanding a round of applause. They're like translators between older and younger generations, because they're the only ones who can speak both languages fluently.
Which brings us to this quote, and man, it just captures the ultimate takeaway perfectly. Their influence is quiet, but it's profound. They never chased the spotlight because, well, they were too busy building the very world we all live in today. So that's the final thought I want to leave you with.
In a world that so often rewards visibility above all else, what can we learn from the generation that figured out how to thrive and build and lead without ever needing an audience?